Learning to surf, my 1-year update. In this video, I'm going to show you where I am with my surfing, with a few of my favorite waves from this year, and also show you some of the land-based training that I've been using to learn to surf. This past year, I've completed 94 surfing sessions, going as much as I could with friends. I wish I could have gone more, but that's the best I could do living in Boston, going to Nahant, and balancing work and family commitments. My sweet spot is 2 to 3 feet waves or 3 to 4 feet waves, but I went when conditions were smaller at 1 to 2 feet waves, or the larger waves I tried to ride were probably in the 5 to 7 feet wave range. When I started, I was not a strong paddler at all and had difficulty paddling through the whitewater. I had a slow 2-step pop-up, and when I stood on the board, I could barely turn, and when I went straight to the beach. However, learning to surf this year, I've now built up paddling strength to paddle through the whitewater, use the turtle roll when needed, and go back to the lineup to catch unbroken waves. I'm getting better at picking waves, positioning myself to catch them, and paddling in to catch the waves with a standard pop-up. I started learning to turn over time by first doing a few small turns at the end of my runs, and then trying to do turns earlier on my rides as soon as I popped up. Now I can do two or more turns on the waves with small bottom turns and small top turns. I've also been experimenting with speed generation and with nose rides by shuffling to the front of the board when I can. I'm still a beginner though, so if any experienced surfers watching this have any friendly tips or comments, please share them in the comments below. I'd love to hear any tips on how to improve my surfing and tips on land-based training that you may use. To supplement my surfing, I've been using several land-based activities as practice. For instance, I use my yoga mat for yoga, but also use it for pop-up practice all the time. On my yoga mat, I also pretend that I'm riding a surfboard and practice leaning back on my back foot to steer to the left and to the right. I've also been using a do-it-yourself balance board that I built to practice balancing on the surfboard. I'm using an old piece of plywood and a small PVC pipe as a roller, with a yoga mat underneath. On the balance board, I also lean on my back foot to pretend turning on the surfboard. I use a surf skate too, the loaded Carver Bolsa with CX trucks, to practice my turns. The surf skate has helped me a lot to practice my bottom turns and my top turns. I have also used other activities to supplement my training, like using my snowboard, my skimboard, or my ripstick. I've also been doing kickboxing, squats, and dumbbells in my basement. All of these activities have helped me out. I've really enjoyed learning how to surf this year, and I plan to continue surfing. I'd like to continue working on several aspects of my surfing. For instance, I'd like to improve my paddling form by arching my back more and using my back muscles more, and paddling with my elbows up, and paddling with deeper and smoother strokes. On my pop-up, I want to glide in, pop up smoothly on my board, and land my feet in the right positions. For my bottom turns, I'd like to lean more into the turns, looking where I want to go, and surfing down the line as early as possible on my runs. I also want to try faded turns more often. On top turns, I'd like to experiment with more twist and more rotational motion to twist my board on the lip of the wave. I also want to learn how to do a floater on the lip. And for aspirational goals, I'd like to learn more about speed generation, cross-stepping, and nose riding. I hope you liked this video. This is part of my surfing progression playlist on YouTube. I've been documenting my first year learning how to surf. I'm still a beginner though, as I said, so if any experienced surfers have any friendly tips or comments, please share them in the comments below. I'd love to hear any tips on how to improve my surfing or tips on land-based training that you may use. Thanks for watching.